Hi, I'm Chica here and welcome back to a new video with me, and I'm gonna show you guys how I did my Glamrock Chica makeup, as well as I'm gonna show you guys how to make the earrings and the bow for her as well, because I did that. And I'm gonna show you guys how I made the earrings. So they are just EVA foam and it looks like this. I did a little upsie on them, but I'm gonna explain that as well. And the bow, which is over here.
I smell pizza!
So I made this bow for my Chica makeup look. Not as pretty on the other side, but I think it looks pretty good. It's a decent bow. I like it, and it looks like this. And yeah. You guys can download the earrings pattern for free, but I will be selling the bow. But if you buy the bow pattern, you can make this bow, and you can make a bow like this as well, which is for my Sailor Moon. So I will be selling the bow pattern, unfortunately for you guys. But it's a nice pattern, and I worked a lot on it, so I decided to sell it instead of giving it out for free, since I worked on it, and I think it's fair to sell something you have worked a lot on. And that's it, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make all this stuff. I'm gonna show you guys how I made my earrings first, and the first thing I did was to print out my pattern, and then I drew it on top of 5mm EVA foam, and then I just cut it out. I also just trimmed the sides easily with scissors just to cut it off, and then I took my piece to the Dremel and dremeled every side so you have more smooth edges. I also went over with my heat gun just to kind of close it a little bit so it's a bit more smooth. I wanted the earring to actually be kind of stiff, and that's why I went over with wood glue, and it usually do work, but I did wood glue and then paint, so yeah, of course the paint cracked like crazy, so I wouldn't really do that, but I wanted it to be stiff, and wood glue do add stiffness to your piece, but I just did it wrongly, because I think if I did wood glue and then the foam primer and then the paint, that it would have worked better, but since I did wood glue and paint on top of the wood glue, it just damaged the paint job so bad. I tried to fix it later with some more foam primer and then paint on top of that. But yeah, you can still kind of see the cracks through it. And here you can see one side I tried to fix and the other side is not fixed, and it's so bad. But I think I did a decent job in the end. You can kind of see it when you get close, but from far away you don't really see it, so it's fine. Just don't do the same mistake as me, but you are probably way smarter than me, so that shouldn't really be an issue. I used my tool in order to clip a hole in my earring so I could actually fit the earring parts. I also put a thread in the pieces so I could hang them up while I varnished them. And I used a satin varnish for my pieces. I usually do this with every foam piece I make, that I use satin varnish. And I don't really use glossy or matte. I love the satin, so that's usually the one I use. And then it's basically done. All you need to do is to put in the earring part so you can actually wear them. It was a bit tricky to get the O-rings in, but after a little bit of struggle, I managed to get every single one in. And then your earrings are done. It's super easy and quick and doesn't really need a lot of skill or time to do, and not really a lot of money either. Really easy to do. I just used whatever I had lying around, so I didn't have to buy anything new for them. But as a cosplayer, you usually just have a lot of random things lying around so you can use. So I decided to show you guys how to make the bow as well, for the people who actually have my pattern. So you can kind of see how the pattern looks like, so it's easy to copy, I guess, but you don't have the pattern, not the pattern, but you don't have the measurements, so yeah, anyway. The first thing you do is to cut out 4 pieces of your fabric, and then you iron in an interface to make it a bit stiffer. And then you take 2 of your pieces and you sew them together. And of course you sew them with the right side in.
and then you turn it inside out later after you have sewn them together. And this is how they should look like when you have sewn them together. It is a bit fickly to turn them inside out, but it's not as hard as it might look like. And when you have turned them inside out, you have to iron them again, or press them. And your pieces should look like this when they are ironed, and you just fold them and you can kind of see the bow peeking through. And this is kind of a hard part, but you make an M form, I suppose you could call it, and you sew it together like that. And it was a bit hard to sew them and show you guys, so I did it off camera. But yeah, you sew them together like that. Make a better M than I did. You also have to make the mid piece for your bow. And it's very simple. It's just a square, and this is the squares. So I just sew them together on both sides, so you get kind of this, I don't know, sausage thing. And then you press it flat, and you just glue it to your bow. And then you are basically done with the bow. The thing you need to do now is to glue it together, all of the pieces. So you start with gluing the bow pieces together, and then you add the midsection, and then whatever back piece you have decided to use. I'm using an alligator clip since I'm gonna clip it to my wig, while for my Sailor Moon bow I used a safety pin since I'm clipping that to my clothing. So it really depends on what you are connecting your piece to. This is my Chica bow and my Sailor Moon bow, and I made them with the same pattern. I just changed it a little bit for my Chica.
Who wants candy?
That's it for the preparations, and I'm gonna show you guys how I did my Chica makeup now. Hi, it's been a really long time since the last time I did a makeup look for you guys, but yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how I did my Chica makeup. The first thing I did was just to prime my face, and I tried this new product they had, just a pore filler, just cause why not, and I got it for Christmas actually. I feel like it makes your skin very smooth and nice, and having a smooth and nice skin also make the makeup application a lot easier. And then I went over with a pink eyeliner just to outline Chica's markings and to make it easier for me later, because I didn't want to have the face paint. It's not a face paint, but the cream color where I'm gonna have the markings, just because I think the job would be a little bit messier and hard to do. So yeah, to do it easier for myself, I decided to mark it before doing the white face. I actually hate this brand so much. It's so hard to work with, but it might just be me who is bad. But they have other cream colors that is easier to work with, and they are smooth and nice and just really pleasant to use. But this one is just patchy and, I don't know, very hard to use. And I also have face paints from the same brand, and I don't really like them either, so I don't really know if I'm just bad at it or if it's just a bad brand, but it's very accessible and you get it for cheap. It's not very expensive either, so I think that kind of justifies it being bad, I guess. But I wanted to get the Creole on TV paint sticks because they are really nice and I really like them, but the store didn't have the white color, which is really sad. And now they are permanently closed down, so I can't go back and actually get it, because I won't get it back in since it's closed and all of that. So I guess I'll just have to travel to England or something just to get really good special effects makeup, because it's not very accessible here, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, I did get three other colors of the TV paint sticks. So I got yellow and pink and green. And the green one you will see in another video, not this video. So that's for another project I'm gonna do. We've been speeding through this makeup video though, so I just show you a white powder by Ben Nye called Super White, which I managed to snag from the special effects store before I closed down, and I'm very happy I managed to get it. Something that was really nice is that the store had like sale because they were closing down, so everything was like 50% off. Which is really nice when you get special effects makeup, which is already very expensive. So I managed to save a lot on the makeup I bought, which is super nice. It was still kind of expensive though. So yeah, you wanna use a white powder when you're doing a white face, because the white powder adds more whiteness to your makeup and brightens it and makes everything look a little bit more smooth as well. So that's nice. So I would recommend a white powder instead of a translucent powder. And here you can see that I'm using the Creole TV paint stick in yellow on top of my nose to represent Chica's beak. And I use a buffer brush to buff it around, and you also get nice and faded edges, which is really nice. And later I'm adding a bit orange around to add a bit of depth and just shadow and contrast. And the eyeshadow I'm using is the James Charles Morphe palette. I'm not really a fan of the block, but the palette is really good though. So I still use it and I still recommend it to people because it's a very pigmented palette. The colors are really strong and they are nice, and there's a lot of options. There's a lot of nice colors in the palette, so I feel like it's like one of the best palettes when like for cosplayers, because you have a lot of colors and it's just very good. I'm not gonna lie, but I did awful filming this makeup look. I'm just not in center, I'm far down, and you can't really see what I'm doing a lot of the time, which is a bit annoying, but that's my fault. I'm struggling a little bit with setup and like filming space and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a little bit hard, but I'm gonna try and do better for my next look, because this is kind of awful, to be honest. You can see how good the pink makeup looks, so just imagine having the same cream color in white. It would be so nice, but sadly, no. I went in with a white eyeliner on my waterline to kind of make my eyes appear bigger, which they are not. I actually did my Chica makeup 2 times, so the time I filmed is the first time I did it. So I decided to go with a pink eyeshadow on my eyes, and later I did green, and I think the green one is a lot better. So I'm gonna show you guys the green one as well at the end of the video. But yeah, I did that another day, and I really liked it with green, but it's not very accurate. But I think that you should just do what you want and what you think looks better, because you don't have to be accurate all the time. So it's art, and you can do whatever you want when it comes to art. So just be creative and have fun. I decided to do the eyeliner off camera just to make it a little bit easier for myself. But yeah, you can't see how I did it, but it doesn't really matter. Just do it the way you would do it. And eyelashes as well. Well, I did them kind of on camera, but it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. And then we add some mascara to the look, and we are almost finished. So you might be wondering what I'm adding on my lips, and that's actually eyeshadow. I often add eyeshadow on top of my lips, it just makes it look more faded and nice, and then I add a lipstick on top of that afterwards. So I've been doing this for a little while, and yeah, I just like it. I do have very small lips, so I find lipstick to be very hard, and I don't really like how my lips look after I add lipsticks most of the time. But I think this heart shape suits me very well. So yeah, I like heart shapes, so I often do that as well, actually. The most important part is the highlights. Sometimes I forget adding highlights, which is bad because highlights are really important, I feel like. Don't forget your highlights, they just makes the makeup pop like so much. So yeah, add highlights, and yeah, for last, it's the setting spray. So yeah, don't forget it either, but highlights, don't forget it. This is actually the end, but before I show you guys the finished look, I'm gonna just thank you all for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, take care, goodbye, Chica out.